All right, our broadcast has begun.
We now begin our broadcast day.
We're about a couple of minutes out, doing our final checks. See what's going on. Make sure I've got. Where's my script? Did you get the edits from the rehearsal?
Be my sheets.
All right. Yeah, I had a few red lines on the script. I thought you were a little overdoing the John character.
Right? Yeah.
In a couple of scenes.
Dial it back down. Go from
Yes.
John 10 to about John 8. Yeah.
Yeah, nobody will believe.
The John character.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Dial it back down.
Uh-oh. You better cut off
There we
that
go.
feedback. Are you watching yourself watch yourself again?
Wow, this is really confusing. Hang on. There we go. I have to bring up I bring up the YouTube live channel because I can see I can chat back.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can't in.
That's right. You gotta keep those trolls in their place.
Banhammer.
Oh, we got about a minute to go here. Well, I guess we got to go through with it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You don't see anybody in the chat yet.
I don't.
Might just be you and I.
That's okay.
That's all right. We've done it that way before. I was going to look up and see how many consecutive episodes we've done.
I am sure we've beaten it with this last.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I wanted to see how many this year, which certainly must be the record. All right, let's go in 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the RetroMacCast with James and John. This is episode 546 for October 11th, 2020. Good morning, John.
Good morning, James.
Y'all ready to go?
I am ready.
I haven't seen anybody pop into the chat yet, so it might just be you and I. We are streaming on YouTube Live every Sunday morning at 8 a.m. Central. If you want to come join us. I know it's an inconvenient hour, very early on a Sunday morning. So you'd have to be pretty hardcore.
That's right. Yep. Or living overseas, which is mostly what...
I'm on the show, and I'm not sure I'm quite hardcore. Just barely.
I have a soft core made primarily of pudding.
I was particularly groggy this morning, so I'm hoping this will supercharge me.
Is this your iced cold brew?
My cold brew. Yeah, I've been doing the instant cold brew.
Oh,
courtesy of AeroPress, which is one of our sponsors.
That's AeroPress. When you like to punish your coffee before drinking it, AeroPress.
Because normally you steep cold brew like 12 plus hours.
Yeah, sure. Mm-hmm.
This one I grind and it use a coarse grind. This one is a fine grind, and I just press it kind of like a French press, but just at room temperature.
Welcome
pretty
to
well.
Coffee Hour. I do like coffee. Yes.
We weren't going to talk about coffee. We're going to talk about Macs, especially old Macs. And today's episode was going to be about going to be about the arc of the desk accessory.
Yes.
Which has ended. So we'll talk more about that. Before we do that, we need some new members on Facebook. We welcome Eleanor Spenceley, joined us earlier this week, and Luis Rodriguez and Erno Imre.
All right.
Perfect. And what else? Anything else we need to talk about? I saw you were saying that you got your copy of...
Alice Through the Looking Glass,
Through
which
the
I do
Looking
not
Glass.
have handy to show you.
Oh.
So imagine it. I'll green screen it in later.
I'm sorry.
This is
I didn't mean to embarrass you for
it.
not being
It
prepared.
is. It is in the Alice room, which perhaps I'll take a picture of it nested amongst all
John
the
has
other
an
Alice.
estate with many, many rooms, much
All
like a novel in the Alice in the Wonderland universe. He has so many rooms that there is a room devoted to just one book.
that is right. That is my wife's room, and then we do also have a room semi-dedicated to Adventure Time. So,
Perfect.
we like to theme our rooms.
All right. Well, we will be right back to talk about some eBay finds.
eBay.
eBay.
E to the
Let's-
bay.
To the bay. Uh-oh, I lost my windows here. Okay, here we go. All right.
All right. Am I
when you're
doing
ready?
the vintage computer with the bag? The classic?
Yeah.
Oh.
What's remarkable about that?
It's a good price. Hello, the bag's
Good
awesome.
well, it was getting a lot of bidding activity.
Yeah.
I think it was a nice, solid. It's just I don't know. Just people seem to be gravitating towards that,
which is kind of
classics.
interesting. Yeah.
All right.
But anyway, let's talk about it. Yeah.
Let's talk about it when we talk about it.
Oh, we talk about it. Don't talk about it before we talk about it.
No, because then we wouldn't have anything to talk about. Okay, you ready?
I'm ready when you are.
I'll be ready in 4, 3, 2, 1. It's time for the eBay finds. Last week, that PowerBook 180 poster, the most acclaimed notebook computer in the world, sold, got 5 bids. How much do you think that sold for?
Ooh, I'm not going to hazard.
Nice looking poster, $81.
Very good. Somebody got a very good deal.
And let's switch it over here to that guy. That's the 128K Mac in working condition. It's with an external drive and a modem if you need that. Very clean. Boy, it got less than what I thought it would get. 34 bids took this to $464.99.
Okay.
Solid deal for a working original Mac. And the Macintosh 2X, right? 2X, working 2X. Didn't come with that monitor, which is too bad. That looked glorious with that 640 by 480 8-bit After Dark, right? That After Dark. $400 was the starting bid. Did not sell. This one has been relisted. It has a new starting bid of just $300.
Oh, trying to sweeten that deal.
This is located in San Francisco. It will end later on this week on Saturday. All right. We shall begin with this guy.
Aha. The magazine.
The magazine, the premiere issue of Macworld magazine, came out January of 1984, featuring a dapper Steve Jobs wearing a suit. The businessman Steve Jobs.
How old was he in this picture? I mean, he was still in
very good question,
20s, right?
I think we can look that up, but I think he had to have been in his early 30s by this point, right?
All right.
Pose there with 3 Macs showing 3 different things going on there. Very collectible.
I'm sure you have several of these, do you not?
I went on a spree where I was buying them up because I enjoyed them so much. And I thought they might be a nice thing to have multiple copies of. So I have quite a few.
Nice.
Back when you can get them fairly inexpensively. And this one, you actually might be able to get this one fairly inexpensively, and because it's only after one bid at $25. These historically have traded for 4 times that.
Oh wow.
$100 range, depending on condition, of course. This one's in good shape. It's not even marred with an address label.
Oh, very good. Yeah, because a lot of times they have that.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice.
Yeah. So there's a couple pictures here of the inside. You see some screenshots,
Mhm.
gallery of Macworld. Of course, you can get the whole thing in a PDF.
Sure. Yeah.
Over on archive.org. But boy, to have the actual physical magazine, which, as a reminder, the magazine is also this weird format, right? It's extra wide.
Oh, really? Okay.
It's not like the skinnier format. And it's a really heavy duty. And so it has this extra feeling of quality, as you would expect for something that covers the Macintosh. So there it is. This one ships from Lake Worth, Florida. $25 again, one bid. This one ends on Friday.
All right. Next up, we have a classic. Literally, it is a Macintosh classic computer with the bag. And so they say a little bit about
bag, baby.
They say that, all right, so right now, found this gem at an estate sale recently, cosmetically in excellent condition, comes with mouse, keyboard, and Apple bag. Machine turns on just fine, but OS won't boot up. Did not come with floppy, with OS for reinstallation, sold as is. So saying that, I have a few concerns about this one. So they do have a picture of it on.
But there's no
there's
disc
no flashing disc. There's no hey, where's the disc? It's just the gray checkerboard screen. It does look like the normal pattern. So at least it's not like a weird, like big checkerboard showing that there's possibly something wrong.
Is it possible we cut the frame
just as they took the picture just as it was flashing?
Yeah.
I
don't know.
Could happen. But obviously, if they had known the key command, they could have booted this into the built-in operating system.
Yes.
Which would have been nice to check.
Right.
So the other thing that if you do decide to get this and you're like, oh, well, I'm going to put a hard drive in here. So if I remember correctly, the classic, you could get it with or without the hard drive, and it actually had a separate daughter card in there to control the hard drive. So unless you bought it with the hard drive in it, you may not even have that daughter card. I believe that was the case. With
really? I didn't know you could buy this without the hard drive.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep,
wow.
Yep. Because this was supposed to be like the uber cheap.
Sure. This is like the first, sub $1,000.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Computer.
Yeah. So they cut as many costs as they could with this. So it's really interesting though when you if you look at the size of the logic board on this compared to like the Mac Plus, this is basically a Mac Plus power wise. And it's like I don't know, maybe about half the size, 2/3 the size, something like that. It's a wee tiny board compared. But anyway, so if you want to take your chances with this one, which I mean, it still cosmetically does look great. It comes with a keyboard and mouse, fantastic. That bag is really cool looking. Right now, this has its current bid is $91. This has gotten 17 bids so far. Let's see, how long does this one still have? This still has 3 days to go.
Yeah, a lot of interest.
Yeah.
Maybe there's so much interest because it has that rare left-handed mouse. You see that?
Yeah, it's so hard to find those. Yes.
Okay. All right. And next, look at that.
Holy cow.
Just looks like a regular old PowerBook, right? Or is it? The title says vintage. Is that vintage? VTG? Does that stand for vintage? I don't know. Power PC Macintosh. It from 1997. What is it? A 5300 or something like that? But it's no ordinary one because it is beat to hell.
Yeah, this laptop has seen some things, man.
Yeah. Yeah, they treat them hard over there at look at the case separation,
Oh yeah.
the scratches. Do you see something there though on the back? What do you see?
As far as I see some very
That's-
scratched up plastic. See IR.
Let's look in there. What does it say? It
Oh yeah,
says
yeah. The on the bottom. Yeah. Okay.
PowerBook Development Team, Conga DVT Design Verification Test Unit, not for resale. So, this was
Interesting, right.
internally labeled for development. And there's another sticker over there. It was probably added after the fact. But
Yeah, I was trying to MetaMac. Is that what do you think it says? Like
MetaMac. Yeah, that was just some kind of third party
company. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see if there are any other details. No, doesn't say anything. It just says prototype. Doesn't have a model number, part number. Unable to test. No power adapter. There you go. Look at that.
So how much would you pay?
I wouldn't pay the buy it now of $3,000.
No.
I'm not sure I'd pay anything near that. Of course, earlier prototypes would possibly get that kind of money, especially if they were significantly different, like with a clear case or something like
Right,
that, or shiny
right.
plastics or other things we've come to associate with early prototypes. This one doesn't. I mean, other than missing the the labeling for the model number, nothing else really stands out, right? Other than it's pretty beat up.
And that sticker on the bottom that's got the internal name for it, right?
Yeah, but it would be interesting to have if you're fond of prototypes. Gosh, I don't know what this thing's really worth. It's kind of you got to find the right buyer, but 3,000 seems a little.
I do not believe this one's going to be moving at all.
You can make an offer though. So who knows how long this has been listed, but there it is. We'll see if they get any bites by next week. Okay, Jeremy from London.
Jeremy.
YouTube. Oh, bad YouTube. Didn't remind you. That's a bad YouTube.
No biscuit.
No soup for you. All right. You ready to go for this next segment?
Let's let me bring up. I've got just a few links handy, though I'm sure you'll be bringing them up on the StreamYard screen.
Will I?
No, you don't have to.
Maybe.
Not.
I don't know.
Okay, that's fine. I'm ready when you are.
I'm gonna be juggling around here. All right, let's go.
All right,
let's do it. Let's do it live. Let's do it in 3, 2, 1. Well, with Catalina 10.15, the latest version of Mac OS, we lost Dashboard. And with that, we lost widgets. And widgets, the end of widgets is the end of an era of desk accessories, which is just another name. Well, they were a little bit different, but kind of similar. Yeah. Similar in functionality, the idea.
Yeah.
Not in execution, but sort of in spirit. I think widgets had the spirit of the original DA. And so I thought we'd trace back that lineage, go back to, really, you got to go back to like 1981, the fall of 81. And you learn about all this at folklore.org. I'm sure Derek did an episode in Mac Folklore Radio.
Yes, he did. And I tried to find specifically that episode, though Derek wasn't too keen on people listening to it because I guess it's one of the earlier ones he did. So he's not too happy with the audio on it. But
that's right. So it's there, but don't listen to it.
Or if you do listen to it, don't let him know you did it.
Right. Keep it a secret.
Keep it a secret. That's right.
And let's see. So fall of 81, you go back and read that story and you find out that it was Bud Tribble that approached Andy Hertzfeld about the idea of what they called the desk ornament, right? This idea of a little program, a little application that would run alongside your main application. Now, if you remember that original Mac and it's 128K of RAM and running off floppy drives, it was a very tall order just to get it to run the operating system, let alone
like
running
multitasking.
an application. Yeah, so they had no real multitasking environment, but they did have this idea that if you ran a bit of code concurrent with the operating system, you could pull off some light duty applications and give the illusion of multitasking. And so Bud Tribble approached Andy about this and said, how about this idea? And, like a calculator and those kinds of things. And off Andy went, and voila, with the release of macOS 1.0, they had the desk accessory.
Pretty neat.
Yeah.
So
you can't even imagine it without it, right?
Right. And so my question, I was curious because I really don't know much about the Lisa. I know the Lisa had basically, it was all the apps were always just kind of on in a way.
So it had a kind of a multitasking.
Right. So did they have control panels or anything similar?
They must have.
Or
there must have been something in
just
there.
Like another app you launched.
Yeah, well, you're right. Maybe they were sort of on the same level as applications. So the big differentiation was the execution of the desk accessories, and that they were like a kind of driver that was loaded at boot up by the operating itself, and it was the OS would just continually check in on it and see if it wanted to do anything with it. So there was a unique installation, right? You remember having to mess around with
DA mover, right? Yes.
How elegant is that?
Oh my goodness!
The font
DA
mover.
You basically had to move things in and out of the system.
Into the suitcase.
Into the suitcase. Thank you.
Yeah. You had a suitcase of fonts and a suitcase of desk accessories, and you had to have the special app because you couldn't just drag and drop these things and rename them.
Yeah.
Because again, they were kind of inextricably linked to the operating system, so you need a special way to get at them, unlike regular applications.
It certainly became easier in what probably. Did they have folders by 608 or was it 7.1 before you could just?
It wasn't until 7.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't until System 7 that you could drag and drop them. But by then there was this at least cooperative multitasking.
Sure.
And really kind of got rid of the real need for the desk accessory way of incorporating to the OS.
By then you could actually put any kind of application into your Apple menu also, but still it was they launched quickly. They were still very useful, like your calculator and
right. But you could download a calculator app. Didn't have to be a desk
Mm-hmm.
accessory.
Very true.
And it would then have more. You had more flexibility in its design because with a DA it's just a single window, right? And it's got to be very recognizable, the same kind of style with the way it's done. But yeah, you lose the flexibility. So you're right. System 7 got rid of the need for the font DA mover and gave you that backwards compatibility with desk accessories, which would carry on all the way through System 8 and 9.
Yeah. Yep.
Now, I don't know. I think I kind of drifted away from the desk accessory just like Apple did when we had real multitasking, in that, like, I don't know how much backwards compatibility. Like, could you run a System 1 calculator in System 9.1? I don't think so.
Yeah, well, because they all came with their own version of a calculator anyway.
True.
Yeah.
True. Which is interesting. What is the one operating system that Apple has released that doesn't have a calculator in the GUI age?
Other than like early OS 10, where they didn't have desk accessories at the point, but they still had a
They had,
calculator.
yeah, they had a
right.
calculator. You know, the iPad still doesn't have a native calculator,
Really?
which is crazy.
That is.
It's the most aggravating thing. So I wound up using like a web browser to calculate. I mean, you can download a third-party app, but there's to think that there was an operating system that doesn't have the most basic feature.
Sure.
How basic is the calculator?
Yeah.
The story goes, this is kind of rumor, is that there was going to be a calculator, and they started with, as what they did with most apps for iPad, is they took the iPhone app and started from there. And so they had a calculator, but it was just a, in the early stages, just a blown up iPhone app, if not just the same one, except just, pixel expanded or whatever, zoomed in. And then they kind of didn't get around to redesigning it for the iPad size. And by the time they're getting to release, there wasn't really enough time to make a specific version, and they just decided to get rid of it and haven't done anything since. So
wow,
I was hoping because I tell you what, I don't know. I guess there's 1,000 calculator apps out there you can download, but I have yet to spend the time to find one that actually looked like Apple might have designed it. Anyway, got off track there, but so the spiritual successor, as we were talking earlier in the episode, really was the widget that in 10.4 Tiger.
Yep.
Through the dashboard.
But before Apple's widgets, there were other widgets done by Confabulator.
Confabulator
by Yahoo, and they were widgets. So yes, this is pre Apple's dashboard widgets, but it was very much like that. It was basically a way to do little. I think they were Java-based applets, and they lived on your regular desktop, so you could have. And there were quite a few, and I actually used a couple of them. There were some very fun, weird clock ones with crazy skins. The whole thing started with the guy who he used to skin what was the very good MP3 player back then, but probably Sound Jam or something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he had widgets, and what's really crazy though is once Apple did come out with their widgets, the cry of foul by people saying, "Well, you stole that idea from Confabulator," and it's like, and of course, any saner heads were like, "Well, no, because Confabulator got the idea from Desk Accessories to begin with." So, that was a case of really Apple more or less stealing from themselves. I have to say, in a lot of ways, the Yahoo widgets were a little bit more convenient because you didn't have to go to a special screen to use them. They were there on your desktop. Now you could, you would have to maybe move Windows out of the way to see them, depending on how much screen real estate you had. But so you had those.
Yeah. Well, the dashboard came out, and you can see that I have the pillow behind me. It's kind of cut off right now on our display. Let's see. This is a Throwboy pillow of the dashboard icon. And those widgets came out. And the widgets were, of course, they were unlike regular apps in that they were strictly built by HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and you could quickly make one. They were like little web apps almost. Not too dissimilar from the very first way of doing apps or app-like things on iPhone. But we had those widgets, and fun fact, if you're a longtime listener of the show, you might remember we had a dog named Widget.
That's right.
Widget was named after those widgets, not the generic widget term, but at that time, we got our dog and named her Widget. So, let's see what else. Oh, I brought up the an old system software here,
Mini VMac,
and Mini VMac, and playing with the control panels, and I can remember the little puzzle game, the little slide puzzle game, and of course, what did it create? But the Apple logo.
Look, right. Yeah.
And so I remember like the first time I sat down in a color Mac, the most fun thing to do was like, oh, I got to play the puzzle game to solve it in 6 colors.
So where did you so I actually tried to, I tried tried to find a couple of desk accessories to mess around with, not just the ones that came standard with. And I made the mistake of installing the Tetris desk accessory first.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much as far as I got, because then I just played a lot of Tetris. And it's kind of cool though that there were some games that would have like a desk accessory version. So again, you could easily, launch alongside of whatever boring thing you were doing. You got a little bit of Tetris on the side. So
yeah,
pretty neat.
And remember this. So here's one of the DAs was a scrapbook.
Yes, yeah, I used that one a lot also. Yeah, that was awesome.
You remember how essential it was, because you didn't have multitasking and you couldn't have your Mac Paint open at the same time as Word or whatever else were you doing. You had to paste it in the scrapbook because the scrapbook could run concurrently.
Well, and
quit your app.
The good thing for that was just even using it in a single app. Mac Paint was being able to have, if you had like elements that you were using a lot, you could keep it in there and then you'd have them available. That was a very, very useful.
Right. Yeah. So you wind up having this ridiculously big scrapbook, and there were third-party scrapbooks that you could do. And I always wondered. It's interesting if you go back and you look at the default major industries, and you see Jerry Springer there, which is kind of curious. Long before he went on to be the mayor of Cincinnati and reality talk show host. He was the vice president of finance for major industries. Yeah.
Okay then.
Making that up.
I caught it.
All right.
So here's my question: is there going to be? Is there a kind of spiritual successor to that? And I have kind of an answer.
I did too. I was thinking about that too, and I was thinking there has been an evolution of things you want to quickly do.
Yes.
And Spotlight is part of that.
And
you can go,
so I was just Spotlight kind of leads to what I was thinking of, and that would
I got a second part to that.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I don't know. So, let me say Spotlight. So Spotlight, for example, we were just talking about like calculating. So what I wind up doing, even though there is a calculator in Mac OS, oftentimes if I just want a quick calculation, I will hit Spotlight and just type it in, because it'll do the calculation right there. But the other part of that we've evolved to is also the voice thing, right?
Okay.
The idea of using Siri for quick answers like that. If you don't need something visual, and you can just say, "Hey Siri, what's 3 + 5?" And
3 + 5 is 8.
I don't know if you heard that, but
I did, yeah. You have a very British sounding Siri.
Australian,
okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, imagine if the very first Mac did that for you, right? But anyway, so what was your answer?
So my answer was actually the menu bar. Now that we everyone has real estate on their screen, and so a lot of applications, there's a lot of different things you can get that just reside right in the menu bar.
They put little access to quick things up there. What do they call those things? Menulets or something? I don't know what they call them.
I don't know.
Yeah, fortunately, and if you're on a smaller screen, they wind up creeping across.
Right. Mm-hmm. But like on my iMac or, and anything pretty much with a 1920 by 1080 screen, you're going to have space for a lot of those little guys up there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they're usually they don't stand alone. They're Well, I guess some of them might,
Some
but
do.
I think
Yeah.
they're attached to a larger application. It's just a quicker way of getting to
One of the
some
best
of those
ones that I've
features.
got is one that gives you, normally you've got your, time and date up there. I've got one that when you click on it, it actually gives you a full month view. It's called Dayo.
Mm.
You know,
Dale.
Dayo. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Cool.
It's nice
Yeah,
having a whole little calculator.
I should do that.
Calendar versus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times I've said, like, what is the date of the week after next, and I
Right.
pull
Yeah.
up calendar, and
Check out Dayo. It's
gosh,
awesome.
all the time I'm wasting. So many options, so many things to do, but none of them involve widgets now and our beloved desk accessories. But they were essential back then in '84. My gosh, I mean, it would have been as frustrating as some things were using the original Mac OS. It was way better with DAs. So thank you, Bud Tribble and Andy Hertzfeld. All righty. Mac 84, nice pillow. I have a mouse pad with the dashboard logo from Tiger on it. Yes. We were talking before the show. If somebody has ever made or somebody's currently making small pillows like this with the original icons, like black and white, the low bit depth.
There's got to be somebody on Etsy doing it, right?
Yeah. I would love a desktop calendar. I mean, not calendar, calculator. Right. I mean, you can have a whole bunch of calculators on your computer, but a lot of people still will place a desktop calculator, like a physical standalone desktop calculator that sits on your physical desktop, not your computer desktop, like that one.
Yes,
exactly. You do it too. So one that looks exactly. You could 3D printer. It looks exactly like the DA.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool. That would be. Well, because it would be kind of full circle because it wasn't based on an actual physical calculator to begin with.
Sure, everything was right. Yeah.
I mean, wasn't there a particular style? Yeah, the Brown, right?
The Braun. Was it based on the Braun, the calculator itself? I don't know. I'm not sure there's anything on there that screams Braun.
I thought
pretty basic.
Okay.
Really? Well, the rounded corners, but all the DAs have
the round buttons too. The buttons are round.
They're not round in the DA.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm thinking. I guess I'm thinking the.
The OS 10.
OS 10, right?
You're right. In the widget, I think of the very first calculator in OS 10. Yes. You're right. It looked just like a Braun calculator. Yeah. Good point. Should have shown that one. All right, let's redo it. So
all right, let's over.
Let's do do a take two. All right.
So
what are we doing now? News,
yes. Let's bring that up.
Convince Susan Kerr to create some of those in her online store. Yes. You mean pillows?
Pillows.
Yeah, she needs a full line of stuff. Let's see, what am I doing here? We're gonna move on
to the news.
You ready to go?
I am.
Let's go in 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, it's time for the news. Well, can you believe it's been 9 years since Steve Jobs left us?
Wow.
9 years. Tim Cook, as usual, on the anniversary, he puts out a tweet. This time a quote from Maya Angelou. A great soul never dies. It brings us together again and again. Maya Angelou. He says, "You're always with us, Steve. Your memory connects and inspires us every day." So, of course, if Steve were here today, he'd be gearing up for another Apple event, the second one in a month. This one, of course, it's got to be iPhone.
Mhm.
Got to be, but there could be some other things. People are taking bets, running the odds. Mac Rumors has a list. Of course, iPhone 12 was their number one, followed by AirPod Studio, this high-end headphone. I think it's interesting because you sort of associate the AirPod with a small thing that goes in your ear, and so
All
this
right.
idea of having an AirPod Studio seems
So
to contradict itself.
also, what happened to? Didn't they used to have a collaboration with Beats?
Well,
Headphones?
they own them, if
Okay.
you want to call it a collaboration.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yes, they do sell those, and so they're creating yet another line. I guess if this is all true, these are leaked photos.
I see. Okay.
Mac Rumors also mentions air tags. Do you use any of these things? These little things you can stick on
I have
stuff
thought
you lose.
about just for our remote controls. I am constantly losing the little keyboard that I have hooked up to my Mac Mini. That's my media center. It's constantly getting lost. And I'm like,
Wow.
I would love a feature like I've got for my watch, where I can, tap the icon and my phone pings.
Right.
I want something like that for other things. Yeah.
I hadn't heard any of these rumors. I can't believe Apple would get into something like that. I can see them supporting the technology.
Right. Isn't there a Tile? Isn't that the company that makes these?
Yeah. Smaller HomePod. The original HomePod is a beastly thing, and that was what chimed in earlier when I called out to the gal with the S name, and so smaller one, and then the one that even though it's probably lowest odds.
Sure. Yeah.
But an ARM-based, or really Apple Silicon-based Mac is probably the better way of saying it. That would be exciting.
It would be. Even if they just gave us a sneak peek at the case design, because supposedly there was supposed to be.
Well, I doubt they'll do that.
Okay.
They either have it or they don't, right?
Right.
Because if you do that, that's definitely going to give you the Osborne effect.
Right.
Right. Mm-hmm. But what they've done is they said, it's going to take 2 to 5 years or something, some long ranging thing. So that their stock's not going to tank because they got plans. So we're confident the company has a path, but we're still going to keep buying Macs because it's a long ways out. So I think we talked about it a couple episodes ago with the last transition, that they played it really smart, and they wound up beating their estimates, but beating the estimates that they publicly gave us, not their own estimates. I'm sure they know exactly what they're doing.
Yes.
And so it would not surprise me if next week they said, aha, here we go, shipping today.
Right.
Just in time for the holidays. Apple Silicon-based Mac. But the other thing about it, though, is it's a tricky thing, because we're anticipating this huge leap in the price performance ratio, and if they lead with like a Mac Mini, and it's so awesome for the price that they might
undercut
iMac sales, or even Mac Pro sales, or if they did it on the laptop without doing the full line, it gets confusion because you wind up having something that's maybe lower cost but much better value, potentially just as fast. There's all kinds of ways to slice and dice that. You almost have to say, hello, here's our whole lineup.
Sure. You're right.
Right. Or at least focus on one platform or the other. But so we'll find out next week. And let's see. Oh, look at that. Did you see this video? Simon Clement.
This is great.
Oh, I guess I got to show it with everybody.
Yeah.
I'll show it with everybody. But let's see if I can. I'll just play this. You won't get And he's taken some classic Macs and converted them to make them useful for the world we're living in today. He says too many old Macs and too much time on my hands. So he's repurposed 3 classic Macs and converted one into a toilet paper dispenser. He's got a
your
hand
paper
washing
towel,
station.
you got your sanitizer, right?
Yeah, and a full mask.
I love it.
Great. Protect him out there. And then protecting you against viruses since 1984. So perfect. And finally, I got one more thing. Dana is at it. NanoRaptor over on Twitter. The Macintosh Double Plus was designed to be twice as good as its predecessor. Double the resolution with floppies and a pair of 8 megahertz 68010 CPUs. Its planned success of the Double Plus Good with a pair of 60 megahertz CPUs was quickly thrown down the memory hole. Look at that thing. That's glorious. The Macintosh Double Plus, supersized.
Love it.
The side-by-side floppies. I think a second keypad on the left side, and a second set of arrows.
Right. That would have been, yeah.
Because come on, left-handed people. I'm not left-handed, but I sometimes identify left-handed, but they need love too. And so
that's right.
Like
we
previously saw the left-handed mouse. This might have been the opportunity to just go ahead and expand that keyboard too.
I assume you're with the left-handed mouse. The way back when somebody had posted on eBay a rare left-handed Macintosh portable. Do you remember that?
Oh, because they've been reconfigured.
Yeah, where they had just taken, because the trackball could be put on either side of the keyboard. And, they thought they had the rare, left-handed. I think in all seriousness, they thought that it was a rare left-handed.
It's interesting that that Apple never. I wonder if they ever explored the idea of having a reconfigurable desktop keyboard that would allow you that reconfigurability.
It was nice that they had ADB port on either side, so you could put the mouse on either side without having to kind of stretch the cord. Because I am a lefty, and it was nice being able to put it over there without having to, sacrifice cable length. Yeah.
All right. Well, again, always be following NanoRaptor to see what she's coming up with next. Okay. We can time capsule it next week.
Time capsule, that sounds good. I also had another thought. Maybe not for a full segment, but it might be kind of fun to put out there as a question on the Facebook page. Something that you had that you bought new back in the day and then ended up reacquiring on eBay years later for the nostalgia purposes. Because I'm currently bidding on a SideQuest 44 meg hard drive. The ones with the removable 44 meg cartridge.
Oh yeah,
it was the very first hard drive I ever bought.
Right
back in the day, and it was $500, and now I'm getting one for hopefully $50. So
neat.
I thought it would be a fun question to throw out there to people. To see what
Mr. MQWE1. Thanks for punching up the script, guys. But I think the show could use a crazy name.
Love it.
That's right.
Nice.
Like a Kramer kind of character.
Right. Or Wilson on Home Improvement. Was it Wilson? I think it was Wilson. Yeah. Yes.
All right. You ready to go?
I am ready.
Let's go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well, we are at the end of another episode of the RetroMacCast, continuing our streak. I'll have to add it up, see how many consecutive weeks we've been doing this. We'll be back again next week. Remember to join us if you so dare if you are hardcore enough, I don't think you are. Show it. Join us here on YouTube. Go to the RetroMacCast channel. Be here
Sunday.
Sunday 0800
Central.
Central Time in the US. And show us that you are hardcore like Jeremy from London, Mac84, and Mr. McQuee 1. Yes. They're here.
They are here. That's right.
They're here. Next week, maybe some time capsule action. We're going to take a look back October of 1990, 30 years ago. And what else? Anything else, John? You were saying you were doing a little. You were telling the live audience.
Yeah, building a computer desk right now. Yeah.
The computer desk.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, the computer desk.
What were you?
I was gonna go ahead and just talk about the SyQuest drive that you were.
Oh yeah.
On the hunt for, but whatever. The computer desk. Let's talk about that.
Oh yeah.
You're building one
because
you don't have enough desks in there.
Correct. No. I'm fine out here for desk space. But in my house, especially since I've had to be kind of working from home a lot because everyone's having to do that. Our dining room table has been mostly been my computer desk.
I see.
So. And also for gaming purposes, it would be nice to have something I could kind of roll around from room to room.
So it kind of follows you around.
Just follows
you move from the room.
Yeah, I've attached 4 Roombas to the bottom of it and coordinated them. And I'll use
on a schedule,
tile, so it knows where I'm in the house, and we'll be good to go. Yeah,
because you don't use this desk right here for work. You just use it for what we're doing now.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
This is
a lot of desk.
It's a lot of desk, and it's full of computers. It doesn't really have space for. I'm not moving my precious old computers for something new. So
no.
Yeah.
No priorities.
That's right.
All right. Well, cool. All right. Well, I think that's it. Thanks everybody in the chat for showing up. We'll see you next week. Until then, remember. It's not old.
It's a retro.
All right. See you, Jeremy. No excuses from YouTube. I think you were pretty much here on time. I think you.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Some banter.
Well, there was a lot of really choice stuff that happened the 2 minutes before showtime.
That story you shared had me in tears, James.
Yeah.
Amazed. I can't believe you survived that shark.
Nice setup, James. Setup for what?
Oh, unless he meant John.
Unless he meant John. I don't know. Or he's talking about a setup for a joke.
Or your setup for you in the back. I don't know.
Everybody's laughing. Well, we did something funny. Maybe not intentional, but whatever. We'll take it either way.
That's right.
Okay. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.
No, John.